Okay, so this morning's coffee hour is just going to be pretty casual. We have our fall certification deadline coming up August 20th. So this is just an opportunity for us to quickly go over just some reminders ahead of certification, but then mostly give space for questions from you all. I am flying solo for the first bit of this coffee hour, so I'll be juggling a lot of windows. If you have a question, I might need to take a few seconds and look up an answer. But yeah, here to help get you ready for certification and see what you need. And of course, if there's any questions that folks have that maybe require a longer conversation, or what you ask one question and it becomes three more questions, our team is always available to set up a one-on-one call whenever works for you and get into things in more depth. So I will get started. Yeah, just what we're going to go over quickly, the new coffee hour schedule. If you have been to the coffee hours before, you might remember that they used to be on Friday morning. We have shifted to Thursday. I'll do a quick overview of the certification requirements, when the deadline is, just some info about the application dashboard and website, and then time for the questions and answers. So yeah, we moved from Friday to Thursday, the third Thursday for coffee hour. Our August coffee hour is going to be a great one. I'm putting the registration link into the chat now, but our summer fellows have been hard at work doing a lot of research on municipal compost and organic waste diversion projects. I know they have looked into at least, I think my coworker Dorothy said, at least 70 different initiatives across the state. They're going to be highlighting what's going on. Hopefully it will be useful to see, you know, what our fellow Connecticut municipalities are doing on compost. So for the fall 2024 certification, the deadline to submit is Tuesday, August 20th at 12 p.m. You'll want to just make sure that your actions are marked as complete. Anything that you want to submit for this round, make sure it's marked as a completed status so that we can make sure it gets reviewed. If you are submitting for the climate leader designation, you'll want to submit that worksheet along with each action that's part of the climate leader designation. And then of course, if you run into any technical issues when you're submitting, the website's glitching out for you, you're just having some last minute questions or trouble, you can email us and we will be available all day to help with those last minute snafus as they might come up, but hopefully they won't. These are, just a reminder, the certification requirements for each level. So for bronze, one equity toolkit under the action Optimize for Equity, or 1.1, complete at least one action in each of the categories 1 through 12, and then successfully complete 200 or more points across all the actions. For silver, it's very similar. Complete 3 equity toolkits, at least one action in each category, and points totaling 500 or more. And then gold, of course, is a step harder. Complete all actions in category 1, inclusive and equitable communities, including 4 equity toolkits. Complete at least one action in each of the remaining categories 2 through 12. Achieve the climate leader designation. Complete action 8.6, collaborate with other municipalities on sustainability actions. And then successfully complete 750 or more points worth of actions. And I'm going to switch my screen share real quick just to be a view of the application dashboard. So this is our test town certification. Can everyone see this? Yeah, okay. So what I mentioned before, just make sure anything you want us to look at is marked completed. You can use this little drop down status. If you see something has incomplete fields, you can click onto that action and just see what is missing. For example, in this, the partners box was left blank. Yeah, just a reminder of what it all looks like in here. So you'll have the action status marked completed. You'll indicate how many points you're requesting. Then you'll put in here the specifics of say 2.1.1, a brownfield inventory for 10 points. You can upload any supporting documents here. If you have any other details, they can get entered here. Fill out all the starred fields and then save action submission. And it will be tallying up how many actions and points you've submitted for on the sidebar. And that should give you a good picture of where you're at in terms of the certification requirements. So yeah, that's the quick overview. I don't want to talk for too long because the point of this morning is to answer your questions. So we can do that now, get into the questions. So feel free to just shout them out. There's not a ton of people, no need to do the hand raise function. Just go ahead and ask whatever is on your mind. Or type them into chat if you don't have a mic that works. Nobody's got any?
Okay, I've got a question for you.
Great.
What the heck? So what's the typical first action that towns go for?
That's a very good question. Action 1.1, optimize for equity, or the equity toolkit, is required for everyone. It's not necessarily the first thing that municipalities get started on, but it is something that everyone has to do. And that is really more of a process than an outcome. It's basically, we want municipalities and communities to be talking to residents, getting feedback, getting input on how to approach one of the other actions. So as an example, we have one action under a transportation category, a walk audit, which is kind of what it sounds like. Get a group of residents together, go out and walk an area in your community, see how are there sidewalks, are there curb cuts, are people in wheelchairs, are people with strollers, does the traffic signal go by too quickly to cross the street, just those types of observations. So a lot of people pair that with the equity toolkit and will say like, oh, we've heard from seniors in town that this area is not very walkable, so we're going to do an equity toolkit, get a lot of feedback, use that to plan out how we could make some improvements on our streetscapes or roadways. But that gets applied to all sorts of, I've seen another good example, a community applied it to action 8.2, which is, I'm going to get the official name for you, provide effective community communications. So the municipality basically was asking residents, like, are you getting news from us in an effective way? Are we reaching you? Are our channels, communications channels, the best thing for you? They heard feedback that they were relying too heavily on digital communications. The town had thought, digital's the way forward. We got to do that. They realized in hearing from residents that they actually wanted a return to some more print format. So they shifted how they did that municipal communications. Yeah, so that's one that everybody has to do. We also have a list of, I will put this link in the chat, kind of like this sort of good starter actions, things that don't require, a policy change in the community, things that maybe could be done by volunteers, things that are more like of an inventory or assessment exercise. You might just be going through existing municipal ordinances or policies to see what is the current status. So we've compiled a list of those things, those actions. And I think that we recommend that as a good place to get started. And I will put the link in the chat as soon as I grab it.
Well, you hit on the second question, so that's awesome. Mechanisms for outreach. So I'll look at 8.2. That's a great, that applies to every department, and even, the agencies that we work with, the library. And we'll look for the start action list.
Yes, I just put that in the chat, so you can grab that there. And then if you
got it,
look for it later on our website, it's under support for your town. and then sustainability team guidance. And there's a whole lot of links under there, different resources, including that sort of starter actions list.
Okay, support for your town. Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem. Any other certification questions or things that are, if you're looking at this upcoming deadline, things that are on your mind or you want to check on? Or more general questions?
This is Dawn from Wyndham. I want to first thank you for that list. It's going to be very, very helpful. So I've got actually two questions, I think, on toolkits. If you submitted two when you applied for bronze and you only needed one, how far back is one of them worth? Because like we did one with Mansfield that was solar for all, but we started it in just before COVID.
Okay.
And then everything kind of went on hold a little bit. So we really didn't get started. I mean, even though we legitimately said we started here, nothing really started until probably just as they were starting to let some of the kids back into school, and we were able to get, more people involved. So they're telling me that toolkit doesn't pull over. And so that's one of my questions. The second one is, you gave us the August deadline. What's the next deadline?
Okay, I'll answer that question first because it's shorter. We don't yet have the 2025 deadlines. We should have them around when this current certification cycle wraps up. So in October, November at the latest, but they're usually just in mid-April and mid-August. So that's the general estimate. We don't have the specific dates yet, but when we have them, they will go online. We'll make sure to put them on our social media, in our newsletter. And we'll try and get that information out there. And then the toolkits question, yes. So the equity toolkits have to have been completed in the last 3 years. And it can certainly be something that you're building on, and maybe you did a process in 2019 and now you're sort of doing a second phase. But we really need to see that there has been that community engagement and outreach in the last 3 years. And that narrative should be in your equity toolkit write-up. The narrative should be about what outreach has happened in the last 3 years and what has resulted from it. So if it was all in 2019, that would unfortunately be too long ago. We would need to see something from whatever year you're applying, 3 years.
Okay, so let's say that I do get everything ready to apply for the August. So would I just update the one that I did to make it, put in the narratives that show that what we've done to within the last 2 years, or what?
You could just edit it with the newer information, the newer content. And then also we are very happy to review equity toolkits ahead of the deadline. So if you do that, say in the next couple of weeks, and you want to send it to us early, we can take a preliminary look and see if there's any other information that we think should be added. And we welcome those early equity toolkit submissions, because that's something that you absolutely need for certification. So we can take a look.
Thank you. That was so helpful. Thank you.
Okay, great. And then you didn't ask this, but I'll just say so you mentioned for bronze, you only need one equity toolkit. You are very welcome to submit more than one, and you'll just get an additional 10 points, which is great because points will help you get certified. And then David, I see you have the climate leader. You had a question about the climate leader submission. So I'm going to share my screen to answer that. All right, so when you are logged into your account, if you look at this sidebar on the left, it'll say municipal dashboard. Click on that, and then scroll down to where it'll say update climate leader application. So click there. There's only one, unlike the regular application, there's only one option here. So you'll click on that. You can upload your climate leader worksheet here, just the same way you would upload any documentation for individual actions. So upload the worksheet, and then Um, this appears to be locked. You would make sure that the status is completed, so that we'll know that it was submitted for review. And then click this button, submit climate leader application for review. That's the most important thing. Click this right here. And then you'll just need to make sure that the same way you submit any other actions, anything that you are submitting in your climate leader worksheet, say action 6.4, you'll want to make sure that action 6.4 under your regular application is marked as completed. Does that answer your question? Hopefully, yes. And also, like David, for example, we know that you're submitting climate leader. We, from the work with the fellows that they're doing this summer and just our communications with different municipalities, we generally have a decent sense of who is submitting for certification. So we check on the deadline day. We make sure that, hey, we know that Bristol was looking to submit. We don't see them here. We'll go in and make sure that maybe there was a technical issue. So we try and double check those things for you all as much as possible. So yeah, for example, we know you're looking at climate leader, so we would make sure that it's submitted. And if there's a problem, we can help submit it for you.
Okay, thank you, Kate. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, there I am. I'm not good at this stuff, but thank you very much.
Yeah. No
While
problem.
I'm flapping my gums, I am partnering with Eversource and Lorero Engineering to do scoping studies, which are under the CLD.
Mhm.
We're just kicking those off. I don't think they're going to be able to knock these out for the August 20th submission. Since it's in the process, and I know a deadline's a deadline, and I'm not looking for any special treatment or anything. If it's in process, it doesn't count. It needs to be a finalized report. Am I right on that assumption?
Yeah, it would need to be all the way completed. Yeah, unfortunately, it needs to be done by the deadline. But that's
Okay,
something that you can count in a future submission, for sure.
Okay, and then that it also applies. We have two EV charging stations. A third one's being in the process of being installed in a parking garage. I don't think that'll be done by the 20th. So I won't. I want to just make sure that I'm counting my points correctly here
Yeah,
as I submit.
yeah.
So
Good,
I'm not
good planning.
trying to inflate anything or try to get one by you. Okay.
Yeah, for
thank
the EV chargers, if there was, because we also have and you may have already done this action, apologies if I'm not remembering. We also have an action to do an assessment of your municipality to see where chargers might work. So if you've done that, you can submit that, even if the chargers haven't been installed.
Yep. I submitted that last time, and I was given credit for that. I'm just trying to close that gap down. This is the last part. I got the Board of Ed approved their equity statement last week, and now it's just closing the gap here. So
okay,
we look good, but I will not count the chickens as always. Thank you, Kate.
yep, no problem. Any other questions? Also, Inez from our team just joined. Hi, Inez.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Inez.
Hi, David. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Jeremy. Hi, Jack. Hi, Dawn.
The whole crew.
Can I ask David, what town are you from?
Well, I love this so much. So I do this in my normal job for the city of Bristol. I'm the facilities manager in Public Works, but I'm also on my hometown committee, East Adams. East Adams just got silver, and amazing how quickly they got to silver. And it seems like I've been stuck at silver for a couple of years, but really impressive. A lot of passionate people there, and yeah, they're doing good work down there. So yeah, awesome. I do it both at work and at home. So
Awesome.
Hopefully
Well,
hopefully I haven't worn out my welcome at the Sustainable CT offices.
oh,
Not at all.
I'm sure they love you. I will mention your name to Don Crouch. He's our ED specialist in Wallingford, and he inquired about solar panel garages, carports.
Yep.
Maybe I'll mention your name and he can pick your brain.
Sure, I'm always willing if anybody wants to call me and discuss these actions. Unfortunately, I struggle sometimes. Like I have yet to get a solar installation in Bristol after many attempts. I don't know if it's just old school mentality or what the hurdle is.
We know a little bit
sometimes-
about that here in Wallingford.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you want to know about solar, you should speak to Catherine Deviney up in West Hartford. She seems to have got that figured out or knows the sweet recipe to give to the powers that be to have them bite on that.
Okay.
We're still trying right now to get it on our landfill. We finally had one installed on a Board of Education facility, but the only reason that got installed because the designer of the new roof said, "Hey, you should put one on." 2 years earlier, I went with them in Titan Energy to propose it, and they kicked me out of the room pretty quickly. So I don't know if it was just the way that the designer presented it, or if there was incentives and benefits during a roof replacement that was more conducive to them, but they did agree. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm still trying to find a lot of my buildings. There's a separation between the city buildings and Board of Ed. So most of mine don't have a footprint to accommodate. I have one large building that was an old school and it's a senior center. And I'm still trying to get solar up there. And I've worked with Emily Basham at CT Green Bank on that. And I'm still trying. You got to be very persistent, I think, in some of these municipalities to
Yeah.
not lose your hope and drive, because it can
Yeah.
get kind of discouraging.
It helps to have the community support, but just what you've tried and maybe best practices that things that haven't worked as well. So you never know.
Yeah, I mean, we had a
So-
really good through our energy commission. We did a great campaign through Sustainable CT and with Posigen for a Solar for All campaign. And we had done other like Solarize Bristol campaigns years before that just didn't get traction. This one I think may have worked out. It was odd because it was like COVID had just hit. A lot of people were at home burning up energy, and they realized how much when you're at home all day, how much you spend. So we got a lot of traction on that, and we had a lot of contracts and installs done. So we're in discussion with the Energy Commission again to do another energy campaign, but that one I thought worked very well. Again, Emily Basham from CT Green Bank was involved in that one, and with the Posigen folks. So yeah, that seemed to get a lot of people thinking and seeing their neighbors get it, and a lot more residential solar installs have been completed in Bristol, I've noted.
Yeah, every little bit helps. And I think property owners, I saw a headline, are seeing those increases in utilities costs for themselves and trying to pass it on to their renters. So maybe it is time for a new community campaign. Good luck with that. Thank you for your thoughts.
Yep, well, thank you. Anytime you just call, I'm here.
I'll just make a quick action plug since we just saw an example of it live. Municipalities can earn points for mentoring other communities in the program, which David has done in his work with East Haddam for sure. But if you are a mentor to another community or are mentored by another community, you can actually receive points for that under the certification program. So we really encourage towns to work together and municipalities to work together and help each other out, especially when someone has already done something that you're looking at. It's always great to learn from others, the lessons learned.
Yeah, and to just go off of Kate's action plug, I will plug the Community Match Fund, David. If you guys need any funding to help that energy campaign, like marketing materials, stipend time, anything like that, we love to fund energy campaigns. So keep that in mind in case it comes up. We'd love to see a project in Bristol, and you could earn credit for it.
Yeah, I would enjoy it as well. And I'll just keep plugging for you because in East Haddam, we're doing one, and I think I saw Dana Mowry on the line. Was she on here? I thought I saw
I think
her.
she was on just for a few minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, Dana is working with folks on our team. We're doing like a heat pump campaign and home energy efficiency surveys.
That's great.
So, yep, we've gotten funds. I forget the total, but we've gotten funds to run that campaign, and we're going to be staffing public events to promote those, informational sessions for residents, and trying to key in on low income, middle income folks. Anything we can do to help our neighbors. What else was I going to say? You had mentioned the community match funding. So in Bristol, Lindsay Rivers used that leverage to, I believe it was the outdoor classrooms. He raised funds publicly for those, and she and Board of Ed with Public Works, labor and assistance, installed outdoor classrooms. She even got on CPTV, and they did a little blurb on her about that. But it's pretty cool. There are these outdoor chalkboard enclosures, and they have rain barrels set up and seating areas so that on good days, teachers can get the frisky little kids outside and kind of get them more engaged. And in East Haddam, we use the community match funding to help our scout troops purchase a new recycling container where the community drops off redeemable beverage containers. And it was in very poor condition, and now they have a really nice, tight container that'll last them years and years. So thank you for your help at Sustainable CT on both of those. A lot of stuff out there, and like Kate said about other towns, I've failed on things, so I'd be happy to share some of my failure stories and some of my success. I know, when we did invasive species outreach, I think I pretty much stole Ridgefield's action. I looked at it, I reviewed it, I reached out to the people that they had used, and they were more than happy to get into another community. So I think imitation is the best form of flattery, and I've flattered plenty of communities out there, with or without their knowledge, but you can learn a lot on some of those success stories at the bottom of action. So if you're struggling or you have questions, read those, reach out to the contacts listed for those municipalities, and I'm sure they'd be happy to help you out. I know Sustainable CT has given me a lot of their time, and I owe them more than they've given to other municipalities. So feel free to call me at any time.
You don't know it's a thing. That's what we're here for.
Got to spread the good word. Keep promoting.
Yeah, you're our number one hype man, I think.
I'll take it. I think that was a compliment, so I'll take it.
It was.
Thank you.
Any other questions from anyone? If not, we can really give everyone a bonus 30 minutes back into their day. If you have more in-depth questions that maybe you didn't want to ask on the webinar, Inez and I can also stay on and chat. We're happy to help. And then, of course, if you think of anything, you can email us. I'm going to put that in the chat too, info@sustainableCT.org, and we will get back to you within a day to help you out.